Okay, last time we left off, the video cut off, so I'll continue where I left off. We were trying to test out our script, and we expected to see a comms message over here, and we didn't. It never came, so what happened? So if we look at our output from Space Nerds at Space itself, we see this. Error executing Lua script. Line 207, bad argument number 3 to register timer callback. Number expected, got string. So if we look at our script, line 207, register timer callback. So it got a string, it was expecting the number, so apparently this cookie is a number. I had forgotten that. So let's make it a number. 0. We don't actually care what number. Now let's try running our script again. And now we should see a comms message in 10 seconds. Well, that's not the comms message we were expecting. There we go. Please investigate distress call from 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. And you see here it says SB00. That is the name of Starbase. We might want to put a space or few between that Starbase 00 and please, but basically the gist of it, it worked. So let's go back and do this. See, put a colon, and then that'll be a little better. So the next thing we want to do is, now that we have the Starbase transmitting this message, and the player will get this message, and then they can go investigate, we want to have, when the player gets near to the derelict, something to happen. A bunch of enemies to pop out. So, first we will register another callback. To spring the trap. And we will call this, let's say we call it once per second. Actually, this is a one shot. So now let's make our function. Spring the trap. Cookie. And what we want to do is, I'll put comments here. Player is near to the So if the player comes near to the derelict, we want to put a bunch of enemies out there. So how do we do this? Well, we need to calculate the distance from the player to the derelict. So how do we do that? Player IDs. So let's say we say location. So there is a get object location. We get an X, Y, and a Z back from get object location. We give it an object ID. So we can say PX, PY, PZ equals get object location, player IDs 1. So that gets the player location. This will get the target location or the derelict location. So derelict is this object, so we can get the location of the derelict this way. Now we can get the distance using Pythagorean theorem. That is the square of the distance. How do I do square root in Lua? Don't remember. There we go. Math.square root. Do I have to say anything? No. So I can say math.square root of all that. That is the distance. So now we've calculated the distance between the player and the derelict, and we want to say, first of all, there's a couple of things. This is a one-shot timer callback, so the spring the trap will get called every the first tenth of the second, but we need it to arrange to have itself call back again the next tenth of a second later. So we can do that here. Not a tenth of a second, 1 second. So that's what that does. But we want to only spring the trap one time. Okay, can't remember how Booleans work in Lua. And how do if statements? I guess we can say if trap already sprung, can I say return? Remember how Lua does if statements. So if we've already sprung the trap, then we don't even want to check anymore, so we can just immediately bail out. So that's what this does. Now we want to check if distance is less than then we want to actually let's change this. And just once we spring the trap, let's see, trap distance is, if they become within 1,000 units, let's make it 3,000 units. I don't have a real good feel for distances, but I think that's kind of close, but not too close. So once they get there, now spring the trap. What does that mean? Well, we want to add some ships. Name XYZ type faction auto respawn. So we want to do type disruptor and class or faction 3 Zarkon. Zarkons are always the bad guys. So type faction. So type 12 faction 3 no respawn. so Z1 equals add ship Zarkon 1. I should give these guys better names. So it's XYZ, say 10,500, comma 10,000, comma 10,000. So offset a little bit from the Derelict, and we want, can't remember, XYZ type 12 faction 3 12.3 false, no auto respawn, which means when they die they stay dead. Let's make 5 of these guys, and we will put them at various places. And we want the ships to attack the player, so AI push attack, attacker ID, victim ID.